Alright guys, Gilberto here. So today I want to show you how you can actually launch a new campaign, brand new. So I'm gonna create with you the creative, copy, marketing research, and launch the actual creative, so the actual campaign for a brand new account that I closed. This is a local lead generation business. So I want to show you the whole process like A to Z, like start to finish. On how I create the creatives, the copy, I will launch the campaigns, literally everything. So you guys can literally see how I do it. And again, this is gonna be a very long and not sexy video, but usually people pay me thousands of dollars to see this and you guys are gonna see it for free today. So yeah, just please lock in, okay? So this is the account, Freedom for Living. As you can see, we have no campaign as of now yet. This is gonna be the campaign that I'm gonna launch. It's gonna be at $25 per day to begin with. Again, it's a local lead generation, so we're not gonna spend a lot of money. But one thing that we always have to do when launching new campaigns for a client, let's say you just close a client as a freelancer media buyer like myself, well, before launching ads, before doing anything, you kind of have to follow this structure right here. So what you're seeing right now is my Facebook ads structure for literally anything. That's like for B2B, B2C, e-commerce, lead generation, it doesn't really matter. As you can see, I start with the analysis and research of my competitor, audience, copy, creative, pain points, desire, and all the kind of stuff, right? And I use Gemini, ChatGPT for this. And this is before I run my creative testing. Okay, so this is literally number one thing that I do when I have a new account. And the reason being is because with this marketing research, then I'm gonna create the copy and the creatives, right? Which, as I say right here, they are the most important layer. And then I can dive in inside the creative testing, scaling campaign, retargeting, and all that kind of stuff, right? But so again, number one thing that you have to do right away is to do marketing research, okay? Because you need to understand who is your avatar, what you're gonna sell, the marketing angles you're gonna use, what they tried in the past, the likely objection they're gonna have, and all that kind of stuff, right? So if I go into my Notion, you will see that my client right here, I already feel pretty much all the information about who his potential avatar is, what he sells, who he sells it to. So all this information obviously are needed for me in order to understand, okay, who is gonna sell it to, what is gonna sell, what's the service, why should they buy, and all that kind of stuff. But this is just the starting point because I'm not gonna stop here. This is just step one. I'm then going to use ChatGPT, Cloud, and Gemini to do marketing research, which I already have done. So if you scroll up right here, you will see that I asked pretty much Cloud to pretty much read like all the marketing info about my client, which is a copy and paste of essentially what I have right here in Notion. Okay, so I just copy and paste all the answer that my client give it to me, and then just slam it here, say, hey, read these pretty much, right? And then it just kind of gave me like a little summary about essentially the info that I just gave. It was like, perfect. Now, then I gave a different prompt, which is pretty much done for marketing research. So I went ahead into this doc right here. Let me pull it out for you guys. This right here. So I went here and then I asked to do marketing research pretty much. Specifically, I asked that I want to understand my core pain points, the desire, an outcome of my audience, what they're trying in the past, why it has not worked, the likely objection, the most effective emotional logical marketing. And then I asked to go deep and raw, funny, but I asked to go deep and raw because they want like actual insights, right? So that's pretty much what Claude and ChatGPT are doing, right? They go here, and as you can see, he gave me pretty much 10 different audiences that I can play with. This is audience number one, as you can see, right? Audience number one, opportunity for the 100K. And then it gives me the pain points, the desire and the outcomes, what they already tried, why should they buy this service, the likely objection they might have. Pretty much this is golden. This is gold because with these, then I can start crafting all my marketing angles, right? And as you can see, Claude in this case gave me like a bunch of them, which I don't need them all because again, my audience is going to be very small. It's just a local lead generation business. So I want to address the biggest possible market while still making sure this is the highest converting market. Sorry. So what I did was going ahead here and say, okay, well, based on all this audience, I want you to name me the two larger one and easy to target and convert in the market as of today. And then he gave me those two audience really to use, which is audience number one, the fee frustration investor, best opportunity, and audience number two, which is the anxious mid-career professional, right? So if you didn't get it by now, this client pretty much, it sells like investing opportunity and retiring, like it kind of helps you with the retire, right, in the US. So it's like, perfect. Okay, I have my two audience. I have a bunch of information about this right here. And then if I scroll up, I can also find more information here. So it was like, perfect. I select my two audiences, my two ICP, which is pretty much what I want to do following this chart right here. So I was like, now I need to create some attention grabbing hooks, right? Which is exactly what I did. So I gave another prompt, which is based on the marketing research we have done. I want you to create 10 different grabbing attention hooks. Make sure they're very different one from another. Don't create hooks just for the sake of it. And so I did. It went ahead and it created me 10 different hooks that I can use in my images, right? But then I wasn't happy. So I actually went even further. I was like, okay, I'm going to give you more pretty much insight. This is pretty much what my client does. Based on all the information you gather here, plus this one, I really want you to start finalizing some ad copies for me that I can use in my ads as well. And again, you can read the prompt, guys, and that's what the refining ad copy is, because this is going to be used actually in my image, right? And then, because again, I was not happy with that, I went ahead and going into Gemini right here, I did the very, very same. So if I scroll up, you can see I gave all the marketing research that I go with Cloud to Gemini. And then I went down and pretty much I just got even more marketing angles that I could use, right? So I went down right here. It's like, now create me 5 Facebook ads copy using the AIDA framework. AIDA stands for Attention, Interest, Desire, and Action, which is one of the frameworks that I have right here. This is the copy framework that I use. And again, I asked to give me some copies, but in reality, I'm going to use those copies in my Facebook ads creatives, right? Because I'm going to create some images. So he started giving me some copies, and then I was like, perfect. I can get the hook and I can get the call to action or maybe some like interest or desire right here. I can just blend it. I'm not going to do copy and paste, obviously, because this is too much text to have an image, but I can extrapolate the hooks and the call to action and the body and just create pretty much like a creative based on that, right? Which is pretty much what I did also here. I asked like pretty much to change the call to action because the call to action is a free of charge consultation. And so it did. And then I just refine it even further, pretty much the prompt. But you see, I use AI pretty much to do everything. Understand my audience, understand exactly what they think, what they try in the past, what they want. So yeah, as you can see, I refined even further the prompt. And then I went ahead and got even more copies pretty much for me, which again, it's attention, interest, desire, action. So again, I understand it's a bit confusing, but pretty much I use AI to kind of get all the information and even like some hooks and copies and stuff like that. And then I just refine them a little bit and tweak them. But as you can see, I went again, I also say now let's change a little bit and let's try to make it more case study oriented, because that's another very good angle. It's like how to get how X get Y in Z mechanism, right? And then went ahead and said like case studies, how Sarah found blah, 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 blah. So desire and then action again, right? So this is very, very good, especially for like a sophisticated audience, because you also need to understand the sophistication level of your market, right? An audience that is sophisticated, they need a unique mechanism in order to succeed, right? In order to convert, I should say, which is why these might work very, very well for someone that is already investing, or they're like aware about their like 401k, or like they're already aware about the fact that they're losing 1% interest pretty much. As you can see, I pay like 1% of annual fees. I don't even know what the fuck to mention this, but pretty much I went ahead and make all those copies, right? Then what I did was like, all right, I got all these marketing angles, I got all these copies that I can use in my images. Now I need to get the actual image, right? So I went ahead in the ads library and then I started looking for a time and plan or for 401k, and then just try to see what people were running. And I saw that a lot of those images were just like an epic couple right here, for example, made with AI, and then just like some converting copy like on the top, right? And I wanted to make it even better. I was like, okay, I can make that, because this is just a picture, right? This is literally some picture and it looks very, very AI. I think I can do a better job. So what I did after doing all my marketing research, also with Ads Library, which again, you can just go here, you type some keyword, retirement plan, 401k, or like 1% annual investment, blah, 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 whatever it might be. I decided to go to this software here, which is called Xfield. And then I went ahead and create some images pretty much right here. And I use Rave as a model, Nano Banana, and sometimes also I try Xfield So, okay? I use those three. And then as you can see, I start generating a couple of pictures that I could use in my ads. Then I went in Canva right here and I started pretty much just making a template based on what I felt what I could have been the best. I was like, all right, I'm targeting boomers. I'm targeting people in their 50s. What do they like? They like newspaper. They need to have like a very bold, big font, because probably they can't even see and write, and it needs to be straightforward. It doesn't have to be complicated. Those people don't like, they're not super sophisticated. They might be, some of them, but most of them are not super sophisticated. Just, they're not very tech savvy. So I have to keep it very simple, very straightforward. So I start to understand what kind of marketing angle based on all the research that I did with Cloud and Gemini could have worked. And I went ahead, pretty much I did this right here, which is at 1% fee. Your advisor will retire comfortably before you using your money. Okay, so this is for people that are already investing pretty much, and they're paying 1% annual fee to their advisor, and pretty much my clients can get it for free, right? Like they don't have to pay. And then I have like a call to action right here, which is like schedule your free edit, your free audit now. Again, this looks like an article, like a newspaper article, but it's super straightforward. Then I did the same right here to overwhelm to deal with your 401k. Procrastination is costing you growth and peace of mind. Same images, again, looks like a journal, like a newspaper or something like that. Same here, this is like the more case study angle, same exact thing. So I'm just testing different angles as of now. And then I'm using also different picture here, which I'm using the same angle, but like different picture, as you can see. Boom, boom, boom. Then I went ahead and did like an iPhone note. I don't think this one is gonna perform, but I still decided to kind of use it because why not? This is just text, pretty much simple and plain. Speaking straight to the point, I was like, let me try. If this is gonna work for whatever reason, then I'm gonna use different hooks and different angles also for this specific creative style. Then I have a very, very simple text, which is forgot about your 401k. You see it then underperforming, charging fees, right? Then pretty much what we do, and then the call to action. And then also here, am I saving enough to actually retire? Which is again to an aware audience, right? Stop guessing, get a real answer, pretty much what we do. Okay, call to action. And then last one right here, which is more like those magazines that you see like out there. This is very, very, you know, old-fashioned magazine, stuff like that. But I figured out why not try, because again, those boomers are kind of used to this, so maybe this with them is going to resonate very, very well. This looks like an ad, right? Like whereas those, they might look like more newspaper, this is like an ugly ad, whatever. These look like straight out like an ad from like a magazine or something like that. Okay, super, super, super obvious. But again, you have to understand the audience that you're speaking to. In my case, I'm speaking to boomers. So this is perfect. I don't want to target anyone else. I just want to target boomers. So it's like, perfect, okay. I have my 10 ads right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, 10. Okay, and I can start with those, okay, right away, honestly, right away. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna like downloading right now as a PNG. So I'm just gonna click download. I'm gonna get my 10 ads. I'm gonna load it as a PNG. I'm gonna click download. And then for the copy, I simply can get some copies with the correct angle that I use with ChatGPT and stuff like that. Again, I can just go back to Claude right here, and also to like what I did with Gemini, and just use the copy really that I have there pretty much, right? So I'm just gonna save this one right here, for example. I'm gonna extrapolate the zip, and then I'm gonna go into the Ads Manager. I'm gonna go into my client account, and I can start creating pretty much the whole campaign. So the campaign is gonna be extremely, extremely simple, okay? We're gonna have one CBO campaign, one asset, and creative inside, just geographical location. So I'm gonna do right here, I'm gonna call it prospecting, very, very simple. And then CBO, because this is a CBO. I'm gonna save it to draft. Okay, perfect. I'm just gonna make sure this actually is gonna be $30 per day. Just check the budget again. Leads, okay, IS volume, this is all good. And then in here, we're gonna do the targeting. This is gonna be an instant form only. Freedom for living, maximize number of leads. This is perfect. I don't really want anything else here. We're just gonna run lead form for now. Gonna reset the time. Everything else again looks good. I'm just gonna schedule it to midnight pretty much. So I'm gonna do then 12 or 1 a.m. So this way is gonna start exactly at midnight and 1. Perfect. Boom. Then when it comes to location, here's the get tricky. Obviously, we have to further limit our reach. So here, as you can see, you can stay with the current setup, which is the advantage one. And it says that it's going to get you lower cost per results based on your his experience. But then if you really look in this, you just say that it took like, you know, a bunch of testing, and then it figured out that 9% was lower. Well, but that's maybe with e-commerce, that doesn't really apply to local lead generation. And again, like my geographical reach is limited, so I can't just run it worldwide or like nationwide. So I have to further limit my reach. So I'm gonna click continue. I can still leave it broad, but I have to. Well, I know my audience, they are in their 35 plus, so I can just select 35 plus as an audience. Location, this is very important. Obviously, again, this is a local lead gen, which means I'm not gonna run in nationwide, I'm not gonna run United States. I can just run a specific location. So if I go here where it says pretty much where it wants to run, it says that it wants to run it right here, okay? Eastern. I think at least, let me see, where do you want to run it? Location, this is, okay, this is the business location, right? So Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York are my core states. If you want to narrow down to region, focus to 50 miles. Okay, so it wants to Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and New York as a core state, okay? So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna come back to the Ads Manager right here, and then I'm just gonna look for New Jersey, New York, and then it said he also wants to do, was it Pennsylvania? Yeah, and Pennsylvania right here. Okay, I'm gonna come back here, Pennsylvania as well. Awesome. I'm gonna make sure that I deselect the reach more people, because again, like this is just the states he's reaching. That's why the Advantage Plus, if you guys leave it on, is gonna fuck you over. It's gonna fuck you over because it's gonna start deliver ads where it's not supposed to. So you need to get manual control in this case. So we're gonna do New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania. I'm gonna do age 35, 65, all gender, that's completely fine. Custom audience, we're not gonna exclude anything. Language, we're gonna do English all, just because I know there is a lot of Spanish speaking people in the US. We don't really want to target them. Placement, this is gonna be fine. We can leave it automatic. That's not gonna be an issue. And then we're gonna go to the creative right here. So first we're going to just name this one. This one is New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. I don't know, like what's the name of Pennsylvania? Is this one? I don't know. PS, Pennsylvania, PN maybe? I have no idea, I'm not from the US. Anyways, this is gonna be the states. This is gonna be 35, 65, men and female, and it's gonna be an auto placement, and it's gonna be obviously an instant form. Okay, so we're just gonna name the ad set, and then we're gonna go to the ad level finally. All right, so this is gonna be pretty much image 001. Okay, we're gonna connect the correct Facebook and Instagram pages. Make sure you have. Gonna scroll down, and then I need to create pretty much my form right here. Okay, which I will in a second. And also set up the creative, which is the most important part, obviously. So for the creative, I'm gonna upload all the 10 images that we have right now. So I'm gonna go inside the folder right here. I'm gonna upload all the image, and then literally I'm gonna use all those 10 image inside the same asset. Simple as that. I'm gonna have the same instant form. I'm gonna have just different copies for pretty much every single angle that I have. So if I have different angle, obviously, if I have the angle of the 401k, I'm not gonna use pretty much like another angle there, right? I'm just gonna make sure they're tailored, but this is what I'm gonna do, okay? I'm gonna have my 10 images right here. I can start, for example, with this one right here, okay? This is gonna be just a square version, so I'm gonna make sure I click original, so it keeps the square. Otherwise, if it's gonna keep the story, as you can see, it's kind of fucked up. I'm gonna click next. Then it's gonna ask me the primary text. So in this case, for example, is the case study ad. So for the case study ad, if I go to Gemini, I can see that I have it. I think it was Sarah, the one that we just saw. Let me just double check. John. So it was John. Okay. So this is the copy that we have. Okay. Simple as that. We can just copy this whole thing, and then go into the ads manager and then just adjust it very, very simply, right? So obviously we're gonna get rid of this. We're gonna do John, on discovery. Okay, amazing. We're not gonna put the interest. Okay, gonna get rid of the desire mechanism as well. Just gonna leave the plain text, space it out, perfect, and then call to action. Okay, we can also say it takes only a click. Very simple, okay. Let's see if we got also an headline for this. We don't, or we can just literally ask ChatGPT to make us like Gemini, to make us an headline, super simply. All right, so we're gonna copy these. We're gonna go into Gemini. I'm gonna ask, please make 2 FB ads headlines about 8-word max. And the reason why, obviously we're gonna fed them like the copy, the reason why we just said 8-word max is because if you do it longer than that, it's just not gonna work. Like the headline is gonna be cut off from the ad, right? So cut advisor fee, can infrastructure help? Yes. Can be this one, for example. Boom, we can just post it in here. Perfect. We're gonna do learn more, like, yeah, learn more. I think it's a good one. I'll click next. When it comes to these like enhancement, guys, you're gonna get rid of them, all right? Like these are gonna be such a pain in the ass. Get rid of them. Get rid of them for the most part. They're not gonna be useful. They're just gonna destroy your creative by adding some stupid shit here and there, okay? So I usually switch them always off, everything. Click next. And as you can see now, I have my ad with my copy. Okay, here it's gonna ask me authenticator, but again, it doesn't really matter. Now, what I really have to do is just create like a form, an extra form for them. So I'm gonna go here and I can just give it a form. It can be, what day is today? Today is 10th of November. So 10 November 2025. So I know the form date. And then I'm gonna do more volume as a form, okay? I'm gonna do manual. And then I can just slowly start creating my form, okay? Background image can be removed. Blah, 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 blah. Now, when it comes to the form, guys, I'm going to be honest with you, it's not super important. Like the form, it's again, 10% of the overall results. If you can crack the creative and the copy, the form itself is not very important. I'm going to go into settings. I'm going to make sure this is open, which means that people can also share it with each other. So necessarily not someone has to see my ad in order to apply. Someone can also just share this ad with someone else and they can still apply to my form, which is kind of what we want. I'm going to make sure the language obviously is English because this is an English form. Again, here it says background image can be removed, blah, blah, blah. I mean, you can leave all these. This is just some bunch of Facebook bullshit that is doing every now and then just to complicate your life, really. But yeah, I'm gonna scroll down. You can make a background image, which I would probably just mention the offer right here. Greeting, doesn't really matter. Question, this is what you want to pretty much understand from the form. So you probably want their email, their full name, and their phone number, and then probably you want to ask them like a couple of questions. That's it. Okay, you want to do more than that, just like a couple, simple as that. And then privacy policy and ending, really. It's based on the logic, this right here. So I'm gonna create the form, but this is pretty much how I set up the campaign. Okay, imagine that now I finish the form. Literally, all I'm gonna do is just add 10 more creatives in here, adjust the copy per creative, and that's it. I'm just gonna launch it. Simple as that. And then I'm gonna see which creative is spending the most, and then I can understand whether or not an angle is working, because one or two creatives are going to end up spending the most because Facebook thinks those creatives are going to be the best. Then all I have to do really is monitor results, and if they are working, I'm going to make some more variants of that. If they are not working, then I'm going to switch them off. I'm going to let Facebook pick up on some other angles that I made, because again, I have 10 creatives in here, and just reiterate on that. But that's literally how you craft from scratch a campaign and you launch it. Simple as that. Again, the form is something you can do later on. It's not so important, and it's going to take me quite a bit of time, so I'm going to do it later. But yeah, this is pretty much it. Super simple campaign, super simple setup. And again, you're probably gonna touch it once a week, so once it's done forever. So you guys are good. Right, this being said, again guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to work with me or you want me to help you out become a freelancer media buyer like myself, link down below, you can book a call. See ya.